the personal narrative I started with you guys. And remember, you guys helped me pick a topic, and I said I was going to write about the time I auditioned in high school for a play, and I didn't get the part I wanted because I did a real bad job. So, okay, let's go back, and I got to look at all my parts again, just like I did before. So I got to reread what I already wrote. All right, so let's see what I already got. When I was a junior in high school, I auditioned for my school's winter musical, Anything Goes. I was what we call in the business a triple threat, meaning I could sing, dance, and act. I was just starting to get consistent professional acting work, and honestly, I was a little full of myself. I just figured that the role of Reno Sweeney would be mine. There was a freshman named Allison Doubleday who showed up to auditions, and the minute she opened her mouth to sing, I knew I was screwed. Okay, rising action 1. First, we did vocal warm-ups as a group. As I stood there with the other girls, singing away, I couldn't help but notice the vocal range on that Allison Doubleday. As we did scales one by one, the other girls started dropping off on their pitch, but not Allison Doubleday. I was getting more and more nervous every minute. Allison was not, because she literally had the voice of an angel. Okay, rising action 2. By the time the individual singing auditions rolled around, I was so anxious I thought I might drop dead on the spot. Sweaty palms, sweaty face, sweaty armpits, just sweaty. I didn't know it was possible to feel such deep regret about wearing a wool sweater. My heart was pounding with all the allegro force of a broken metronome. There would be no Largo today, which is funny if you do music stuff. Because so much fluid was dripping off my body, there wasn't much left to produce saliva. My mouth was a desert. Back in those days, people didn't carry water bottles. I was slurping off the drinking fountain the way forest animals gulp water from a stream in the woods. The song I had chosen for my audition was one I'd sung 100 times before. I knew it backwards and forwards. It was always a slam dunk, a guaranteed winner. Until today. Okay, so where do you think my climax is headed, guys? What do we think is about to happen? Oh, make a prediction. I'll bet you can see where this is headed.
You know your climax is the moment when you fail. So how did Mrs. Simpson probably fail? Anyone?
Oh, come on. You guys know what's about to happen. Oh, and it's worse than that. So keep in mind, I'm sweaty. My mouth's dry. I'm getting really nervous. Anybody here try to ever sing or try out for something when they're that nervous? You know, singing's all about opening up your throat and breathing deeply from your diaphragm. I was doing like none of those things. No, it was worse than that. I wish I just passed out. And the worst part was when you sound this bad at an audition, people aren't even mean to you. They just feel bad for you and they're really nice about it. That's when you know it's really bad. Okay, so I think I'm going to talk about how the accompanist, because we actually had accompanists, I remember, at auditions. You never have that nowadays. The accompanist played the first notes of my song. I opened up my mouth, and the sound that came out, I don't know, how would I describe the sound that came out? Was a little like a angry whale mated with I don't know, something else that sounds awful. A screeching cat. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see some errors. I'm going to fix my squiggles before I go on. An angry whale had mated? Oh, I didn't need the had. I think the and fixed it. Okay. So I think I need to give a little bit more information about how, like, all the things you're supposed to do, basically, I didn't do any of them. There's, like, a reason I sounded real bad. So I feel like I need some details. Oh, okay. So, Ms. Miller, I forgot to do the thing that we do. I forgot to do the thing. I was all excited to do the thing. Okay, so let's say I'm a student. I got this far. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm like, whew, that's some nice turns of phrase. And now I want to be done. What would I write next? If I were a kid.
Because I played the first notes of my song, I opened up my mouth and the sound that came out was a little like an angry whale mated with a screeching cat. I knew I wasn't getting the part.
Okay.
I sang my last note and sat down.
Okay.
That's usually what you guys would say. Something of that sort.
Yeah, okay, and so what we always tell you is we really want more details, and you all look at us like, what on earth do you want? What you need to hear is, how do I make it longer? Well, giving me more information is how you're going to make it longer and get a better grade. Okay, so let's talk about what I could do. So I'm talking about the screeching cat and the mating whale noise. I knew I wasn't getting the part. I feel like I could probably use something between the cat part and the not getting the roll part. So what could I add in there? What do you want to hear more about? Ask me some things. I'd try to replicate the noise, but I'm too filled with shame 20 years later. 25 years later? Oh, geez, probably 25.
What is information you guys might want to
Come
know?
on, ask me questions. What do you want to know? I'll tell it like it was. Well, you ask me, Ms. Miller. What do you want to know?
I'm an expert, so I guess I will. So she moves like really quickly between, and this is what you guys tend to do too, move really quickly between plot points. So all of a sudden she's singing, and then she knew she wasn't getting it. But what was the reaction? I would like to know how she felt as soon as that sound came out of her mouth. Oh my gosh. What was going through her mind? What were other people's reactions? Did she see like wide eyes from the director because they're like, oh my God, what is wrong with this woman, right? What did people react to? How did Mrs. Simpson react? That's what I would want to know.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about my reaction first. So I was keenly aware that this wasn't going well to start. I knew it was bad. Okay, but that's not enough, right? That doesn't really tell me that much. So I feel like I need some more. I was keenly aware this wasn't going well. I knew it was bad. And so this is the part where I'm like, okay, remember how I talked about when you make a recipe, there's like steps, and you can give the steps in the recipe. That's why I picked the macaron essay. Singing's kind of like that too. Most things can be broken down into steps. And if I describe the steps and then how I felt at each step, I can probably give more detail. It's going to make a better piece of writing. So I'm going to be like, I'm going to give some steps. When you sing, I don't know, I hate the second person you. I think it's really awkward. When a person sings, and I'm going to use they just because I think that's the direction we're heading in life. You used to say he or she, and I think we say they anymore. When a person sings, they should breathe deeply from their diaphragm muscle. I don't know how to spell diaphragm. P-H-R-A-G-M. I can't believe I spelled that right. I was not doing that. My breaths were labored and shallow. Nearly hyperventilating. It was really attractive. You know, because I'm really sweaty at that point, and now I can't breathe. Nearly hyperventilating. Other things you're supposed to do when you sing. And I think I'm going to use intentional repetition. I'm going to start each sentence with when a person sings, because that repetition, when it's intentional, can drive the point home. I kind of like that. I think I'm gonna go with that start sheet. When a person sings, they should take a relaxed body posture. I was hunching up my shoulders like a guillotine would fall from the sky at any moment. Like, you'd go like this. I like to add simile and metaphor, too, and maybe you're not great at that. Maybe you just go back and you pick a couple of places to add a simile or metaphor after. I'm kind of doing it as I go, though. All right, let's see what I have so far. I was not doing that. My breaths were labored and shallow, nearly hyperventilating. So I said what you should do, then what I did. When a person sings, they should take a relaxed body posture. I was hunching up my shoulders like a guillotine would fall from the sky at any moment. I think I want one more, because things are kind of... You ever know anything about feng shui? This is a few years old trend now. It's like the idea of grouping things. 3 is a pleasant grouping. I feel I need 3 things about singing to make this a pleasant grouping. So I'm going to go with one more. Okay, when a person sings, they should open their throat and allow the sound to come out in a steady, controlled pace. Oops, I think I should say at a steady controlled pace. I was forcing what little air I had out of my body, like I was being squeezed to death by a boa constrictor. Okay, so now I knew I wasn't getting the part. Ms. Miller's like, I really, really wish you'd tell me more about other people's reactions. When I finally finished, approximately 11 years later, that's how long it felt, I looked out at the director. She said the worst thing she could say, by the way, went afterwards. Her face was, as always, calm and impassive, but she gave me the absolute worst comment I knew her to give. And I can still hear Kelly doing this too. We're still friends to this day. She said, well, that was certainly something. That's what she would say. Whenever something was bad, people would be like, did you think I did a good job? She'd say, well, that was certainly something. And I knew it was bad. I'm going to say that's when I knew I wasn't getting the part. I'd be lucky if I got any part at all. Okay, so now I feel like there's my climax. My climax kind of took me a hot minute. That took me a while. I'm kind of feeling in retrospect like maybe that was a little bit more of a rising action. But then, you know, sometimes it kind of works out like that, I think. How are we doing on time, Ms. Miller? I don't want to suck up too much time.
We have 30 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up fast on my resolution. Okay, what did I learn? What do you think I learned, children?
What would you learn in a situation like this?
Oh my gosh, surely you could guess what I learned. Oh, I feel like I'm just shouting into the void.
They're not working on their running action or their falling action resolution because not a lot of documents have anything on them.
No. So. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up fast, I think. So learning early on in my acting career that I shouldn't get too cocky about getting a part served me well for the next 13 years. I learned not to go into an audition and later a job interview, meeting, or class, for that matter, just assuming I knew everything. I feel like I need a little more. I feel like I need a little zinger at the end here. I'm getting close, but I'm not quite there. All right, learning early on in my acting career that I shouldn't get too cocky about getting a part served me well for the next 13 years. I learned not to go into an audition, and later a job interview, meeting, or class for that matter, just assuming I knew everything.
Maybe like something about humility.
Yeah. I learned that humility is more important than talent when it comes to actually being a decent human being. I learned to have empathy for others who might be struggling with a task. And I feel like I need like one more thing, but I'm not sure what. But you get the idea, right? I had to make sure I carried it through. If I just said that it was like not good that I didn't get the part and I learned that I should prepare more, that doesn't carry over to my life now. I think I could mention something about how being a teacher, you got to be empathetic because that's my job now. Now that I'm a high school teacher, I carry that lesson with me every day that I work with students who may be struggling with their assignments. Okay, I feel good now. I feel like that's enough. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to shut that off, and there's my essay. Now I just have to format it.